I'm Huon Hooke, and this is The Real Review. The wine we're tasting today is Gala Estate Constable Amos Pinot Noir 2017 from Tasmania. So the backstory to Gala Estate is a fascinating one. Like a lot of wine properties or properties which now grow vineyards on the east coast of Tasmania, there's a long history of farming, grazing families there which have multi-generational histories to them. And Gala Estate is probably the oldest of them all, I'm not sure, but I can tell you that the same family or descendants of the same family have been farming this same land for 200 years as of this year. There are very few places in Australia where anybody could say that. So a couple of brothers called Amos, that was their surname, came out from Scotland in 1821 and they settled on this bit of land on the east coast near the town of Cranbrook, or what is today Cranbrook, about a 2-hour drive from Hobart. They now claim to be Tasmania's second oldest family business. And the 7th generation is now on the ground at Gala Estate. But way back in 1822, only 1 year after the brothers had come out from Scotland, one of them, who was Adam Amos, was appointed the Chief District Constable, and hence the name of this wine, Constable Amos Pinot Noir. He had a lot of work to do because he was not only a pioneering farmer, but he had to look after the security of the entire district. The property today covers about 4,000 hectares, which is very large, and it's surrounded by 4 wild rivers, according to the owners, and they have 5 private forest reserves in the vicinity. So it all points towards this being a really quite natural and wild part of Tasmania. Most of the wild part of Tasmania, of course, is on the west side, but this is on the extreme east coast. So, you don't have to be in the west to be amongst the wilderness. So Constable Amos is now their top Pinot. They produce at least 2 Pinot Noirs that I can think of. I think there are 3. There's a white label, a black label, and this one. This is their $100 wine, so it's not cheap, but it's their kind of signature, their flagship, their statement wine, if you like. The farm still is a big sheep business, and there are 10,000 merino sheep there as well on this farm. And of course the west coast has a very cool but dry climate. It has cold winters, hot summers, warm days and cool nights, and dry because most of the weather comes from the west, and most of the rain clouds drop their rain on the western side of the island, and by the time they get to the far east of the island, there's not much rain left. So that means it's a pretty good climate for growing grapes. The wines are vinified at Winemaking Tasmania, which is the biggest contract winemaking company in Tasmania. Chief winemaker there is the highly experienced Glenn James. So these people, the Amos family, grow the grapes, but they don't make the wine, and that's a perfectly good and legitimate way of doing things. And the wines that result are excellent, so that's what matters. Okay, what does this wine taste like? Gala Estate Constable Amos Pinot Noir 2017. Well, it's coming up to being 4 years old, so as you'd expect, there's not too much purple left in the colour, but it's still quite a youthful colour, good depth of colour. You don't expect Pinot to be dark, but it has pretty good depth of colour for a Pinot. In the bouquet, the first thing I get is ripe, rich, dark cherries. So the fruit has been picked nice and ripe. It's not strawberry, it's not red cherry, it's more dark cherry, which is, to me, indicates fully ripe grapes. There's almost a blackberry touch there too, which is blackberry to me is more of an aroma you associate with Shiraz, but Pinot, when it's rich and ripe, does develop that as well. There's a touch of chocolate there too, which is nice. And there's a slight touch of undergrowth, which I think is probably the whole bunch component. I suspect they've used a bit of whole bunch fermentation in that wine. Very complex. Let's have a taste. Wow, that is a mouthful. That's gorgeous wine. Fills the mouth with flavour. Very much a fruit-driven wine. There is oak there. You can taste that it's been in a barrel, but the oak is not dominant. This is how it should be. Sweet fruit concentration, elegant in its profile, but intense and a long-lasting aftertaste. It really makes quite an impact on the palate. Tannins are there, but they're fine and they're in real harmony with the flavour. I like to see a bit of tannin in Pinot. I think Australians have been shy of tannin in Pinot Noir for too long. Yes, if you want to have a light, fruity, early release, cheap Pinot Noir for just quaffing, perhaps slightly chilled, then a wine without much tannin is good. But if you want a serious Pinot Noir and a wine which can take a bit of age, and a wine that will go with food, you need a bit of tannin, a bit of structure, and this has it. It's a very, very good wine. So how do we rate this wine? We gave it 96 points out of 100, which is a high gold ribbon score. And it was rated number 7 out of 149 Pinot Noirs from Tasmania from that vintage, the 2017 vintage. 7 out of 149. That's a lot of Pinots, and to rate number 7 is very, very high praise. So it's a top ranked score. We've suggested drinking this wine from now until 2032. Very precise, isn't it? But yes, this wine will age beautifully and it will last for a long time. So, the food match. What would we serve with this wine? As usual, we asked the winemaker for some recommendation. Glenn James, who is renowned as a tooth man, he likes his food and has quite a palate, Mr. James. He has recommended we serve it with butterflied quail, which has been marinated in olive oil, star anise and a touch of chili. He would then grill it over hot coals and serve it with a salad of slightly bitter leaves. Sounds wonderful. The salad with bitter leaves with Granny Smith apple and radish in the salad as well. I think that's a very good combination. Quail with Pinot Noir is a personal favourite of mine. Everybody talks about duck. I love duck, but quail is very, very good as well, especially when it's done the way he's described, marinating and then char grilling. Wonderful. I can't wait to try it. Good health.